sometimes I got a feeling that today's gonna be more screwed up than the next for the Giants. There's an article that someone literally just sent me. And the article basically says that the New York Football Giants were unaware that the show that they were doing, according to Paul Schwartz, was going to be Hard Knocks. They didn't know it. They were unaware. We are so unaware that this was going to be Hard Knocks. This was going to turn into Hard Knocks, even though everybody knew that this was going to be Hard Knocks. I'm laughing here because the Dahmer sent it to me, and I was looking at the post on Twitter, and it says, at first the Giants didn't know the docuseries they agreed to do was actually Hard Knocks. They revealed too much, that everything went haywire in 2024. Now no team will repeat the Giants' mistake. No. The Giants didn't go haywire in 2024 because of Hard Knocks. The Giants went haywire in 2024 because of the incompetence of Joe Schoen, John Mara, and the staff. Had nothing to do with Hard Knocks. But for the Giants to sit there and then say, we didn't know this was going to be on TV. We thought they were just following us around with these cameras because we were cool and my wife wears bedazzled hats. I mean, it's one day after the next. You're just like, how much dumber can they be? But don't worry, these are the same guys that are leading the helm of the Titanic right into the iceberg and saying, don't worry, everything will be all right. I mean, it's a joke, right? I mean, seriously, it's a joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, no, we didn't know we were going to be on Hard Knocks. Just tell me I'm wrong. Somebody tell me that I'm wrong. Someone just please tell me. Because I how do you not know it's Hard Knocks? How do you not know? And then to come out and basically admit, we didn't know it was Hard Knocks. So the New York Football Giants, with the start of free agency today at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All these contracts will go over to the league office. There will then be physicals associated with these deals to make sure that these players are that they can perform admirably like they said they were going to, because of the fact that nobody lies, no one tells anything wrong, everyone tells all the truth in the world. And we still don't have a quarterback. Still don't have, according to Joe Schoen in his interview at the Senior Bowl, the Combine, the quarterback is the most important position in sports. I love when Joe Schoen drops knowledge. It's the most important position in the sport.
God damn. Only in America.
Only in America could a moron like Joe Schoen be at the helm. Gives $18 million to a guy coming off a broken femur. He gives almost the exact same amount of money for a very good safety in Holland, when he could have just given that money to Xavier McKinney. And he gave Darius Slayton more money than Saquon Barkley was asking for. You just want to throw your hands up in the air and wave them like you just don't care. But we still don't have a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers evidently is holding up everything for the New York Football Giants. We're going to get to the chat. He's holding up everything. So is it telling us that we have our eggs in the 41-year-old washed up Aaron Rodgers basket? Because you're telling me a 41-year-old is going to survive this season behind the Giants' offensive line, and he has no mobility anymore, and he's coming 2 years off an Achilles tear, which usually leads to an ACL tear. That's just seems what happens in the NFL. And then I guess the backup to the backup plan is Russell Wilson. The only problem is Pittsburgh is in the hunt for Aaron Rodgers. It's funny though, because there's been rumblings that that the former Green Bay great Brett Favre and other people have been trying to push him to go over to Minnesota. And it seems like the Giants are basically the third option, or maybe even the fourth option. And then the fallback plan seems to be, well, we're going to wait on what Russell Wilson does. Well, Russell Wilson, like I've mentioned before numerous times after speaking to some people in Tennessee, there is strong indication that he could potentially go to Tennessee, Russell Wilson. That they are going to offer him a pretty big contract for 2 years to go to Tennessee. And then I love it because now they're saying that if Rodgers doesn't go to the Steelers and he goes to another team, because there's two teams evidently besides the Giants that are interested in Aaron Rodgers, that all of a sudden Russell Wilson is back in play in Pittsburgh. So the Giants are like the maid of honor. We are standing at the altar, watching the bride get married, and hoping she dies. She is literally we are literally standing there holding the bouquet, looking at the groom, going, boy, I really want him. I hope she dies. That's what we're doing. That's what we do. That's what we're doing right now as the Giants. The backup plan is, which is not going to happen, is we were going to trade for Anthony Richardson. Because Daniel Jones, of course, got $14 million on a one-year deal to go over to Indianapolis. Good luck with that, Daniel. Good luck. How you still have an NFL team willing to give you money? that befuddles me. But you know what? It fits.
God damn. Only in America.
Only in America would someone pay Daniel Jones money. So the other backup plan, Mark Stewart, what's up? So the other backup plan, of course, is Jameis Winston. They always say you always should have a plan. And people usually always say running is not a plan. Running away from something is not a plan. Well, the New York Giants are running towards, hopefully, I'm wrong, and hopefully they are running towards getting the first or second pick so they can grab themselves a quarterback. But don't worry, we got what's his Deontay Johnson. We tendered him a contract. We tendered him a contract. But don't worry, guys. Everything's gonna be good. But we're running to a quarterback that is. I mean, how can you go into the season and tell people or even project with people that we are going to be anything but horrible because of the fact that we don't have a quarterback? Now there's talk of the Giants whiff on both of these guys that we can go to 44. Well, how old is Joe Flacco? 497 years old. We go to the 497-year-old Joe Flacco. No, he's only 40 years old. He went 2-4 in 6 starts last year with 12 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with a passer rating of 90.5. So we'll run out either a 40-year-old Joe Flacco, a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, or a 38, 39-year-old Russell Wilson. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that the first two teams that are quarterback needy in the 2025 draft don't take a quarterback. It's like wiping your ass with barbed wire. Highly amusing at first, and then it really fucking hurts to watch this team. And you have to sit here and think to yourself, we're going to get to everyone in a minute. You have to literally sit here and think to yourself. And I always say, you can't say it. How much worse can it get? And I never want to say that because, with the Giants, it just gets worse. It gets worse every day. I go back to signings that we've had. And you know, I like the Holland signing. I think that's a good signing for this team because we need a good safety. Pennock just went over to San Francisco, so I wish them for the best of luck with that fucking disaster. I like the Holland signing. Guy started 57 starts in 60 games. You know, he was, I think he was on the all rookie team. You know, young safety. I like it. The Chauncey Golston signing, I hate it. Rotational player coming off a high 5.5 sack game. You want to get a running mate for, I don't even know who you're getting a running mate for because you have Brian Burns and you have Kayvon Thibodeau. You're not going to recreate NASCAR with those two guys in Chauncey Golston. You're not. You're just not going to. Hated this Darius Slayton. You gave 3 years, $36 million for a guy for 259 receptions for 3,879, 97 yards and 21 touchdowns. Put it in perspective, Reuben Randall had 20 touchdowns. He's never had more than 751 yards. I like the Adebo signing. I hate the contract. But as a guy that played well, they traded Marcus Lattimore because that's how well he played. But here's the problem. He's coming off a broken femur. Broken femur is one of the worst injuries that you can have in the NFL outside of a total ACL, MCL tear. Because of the fact that your legs are everything that you do. And I love when people go, when you break a bone, it gets stronger. Oh, okay. I took biology. I'm not thinking that happens. The Hudson signing, swing tackle, it's what started 17 games out of 47. He was a third. He should have been a third to a fourth day signing. Chris Board should have been a third to a fourth day signing. All you're doing with Chris Board is getting a special teams player. Roy Robertson Harris, another guy, should have been a third or a fourth day free agent signing. Not a guy you sign in day 1 or day 2 because he'll probably still be there at the end because no one's going to give him the money because all the money's going to be sucked up and you probably could have got him for less. So somehow we panicked. And I love it because I told people, and I'm going to say it yesterday, we didn't panic on the 2 big signings. We didn't panic on those. We overpaid because with Adebo, everyone said the same thing. You'll probably get a 2-year, $20 million deal, $10 million a year, kind of a prove-it deal, take all the money up front until they know he can officially come back. And even we talked about Chris Sims on his podcast the other day, or on whatever he was on yesterday. So, you know what? It technically is a major injury. We got to kind of wait and see what happens. Why do we got to wait and see what happens? Why couldn't we sign a guy that was healthy? Now, if you sign this guy and he turns out to be something special, yeah, and then he's worth the $18 million. If he doesn't come back, if he comes back to half of what he was, you got Cordell Flott. So we didn't the Adebo signing was the Joe Shane, I'm the smartest guy in the room signing. I'm smarter than everyone here. The Holland signing made no sense because you had a better safety. I'm not saying Holland's a bad safety. He's a top 10 safety, but you had a better safety who was homegrown in Xavier McKinney. Now, all the other signings should have been guys that you got in day 3 or 4 because they would still be there. Because look at the contract values. They would still be there. So instead of focusing on the big ticket names like a fucking quarterback, you went out and panicked to fill your roster with low-end talent and low-hanging fruit, which would probably have still been there towards the latter half of free agency. That was the panic. But everything else I'm not panicking about. Let's go talk it. Let's give him something to talk about. I just mind that this team is just gone. It's just gone haywire. And then to see the shit with the Paul Schwartz thing about it. We didn't know it was Hard Knocks. Those people flying around with the cameras that said HBO on them, we thought they were shooting a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. We let them in too much. I mind.
Am I supposed to just turn my back and leave?
Am I supposed to be a man
Am I supposed to say, that's okay, I don't mind? I don't mind. Well, I mind. I mind big time.
I mind big time. Michael Lee says, thank God the DJ Nightmare did not happen, and now the Colts problem. Actually, it's good for DJ to go to a dome team. It would have been better for DJ to go to a team that was like in the UFL. What's up, Big Greg? Hit the like button. Don't be fronting. Sup, gents? The Skyline says, hey, everyone. Natural Supreme said, yo, Tim, what's up? Who would you want us as a stopgap quarterback? It was Russell Wilson. No, I'm joking. It's just, I wanted Justin Fields. I've wanted Justin Fields since the draft. And the Jets probably overpaid. But if they can harness something with Justin Fields and build an offense around him, the Jets do have good running backs and good wide receivers. They literally could have something there. I don't want Jameis Winston. I don't want Joe Flacco. I want us to draft a quarterback. I want Joe Shane to be bold and have mighty forces come to his aid. I want him to go up there and get his guy. I want him to pull an Ernie Accorsi and say, I'm going to trade what I need to trade to get my franchise guy and have him turn around and get us 2 Super Bowls before he retires. And I love it because people are like, well, what if they're not in love with either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward? Well, then what the fuck are you going to do? You know, you're gonna ride into the season with Flacco and Tommy DeVito? We might as well go 0-18. We might as well go 0-20. Oh, there's only 18 games. We'll just get 2 extra losses for being stupid. If you're looking, like I said, short-term solution. Short-term solution. I've said it before. I've said it yesterday on the stream. I would roll with Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota showed in Washington that he is capable of still leading an NFL team. You could probably get him for like $7-8 million. And he's going to at least look acceptable. Tommy DeVito, how do you keep signing Tommy DeVito? He doesn't look acceptable. How do you keep signing him? But Marcus Mariota at least will give you the appearance of an NFL quarterback. What's up, Big Paul? We're really going to just sit around and wait for the prick to sign with us instead of having someone come and know they absolutely want to be a Giant. That's the other thing with Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. Neither one of them are beating down the door to be a Giant. They're like, okay, well, Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are like, well, I have option A, I have option B, I have option C, I have option D, and I have the Giants. What's up, OG? What's up, Tim? The organization sucks badly. They do. They do. It must have been Wile E. Coyote Video Diary. Never heard of HBO before, Joe? No, Joe Shane is sitting there going, home box office. Is that where they like deliver boxes to your home? Never heard of it before. I'm too busy being the smartest guy in the room. Walla Walla Walla, what's up? Morning, Tim. Another day, another lost chance of getting a quarterback. Free agency starts at 4. The official free agency starts at 4. When are you going to get a quarterback? When are you going to get any quarterback? You can't tell me as a Giant that you are not sitting there just saying, okay, we are burning through cap space. And we still don't have a quarterback on the roster. Are they waiting for the Titans to maybe trade for them? Are they waiting? Drew Lock's still available. Drew Lock's still there. Right? Trey Lance is still there. Right? Tyler Heineke, Marcus Mariota, Flacco, Winston, Mac Jones, Carson Wentz, Mason Rudolph, Cooper Rush, Brandon Allen, Josh Johnson, Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, Russell Wilson, of course, Brett Ripken, thinking Billy Ripken, Jeff Driscoll, Bailey Zappe's still hanging out there, right? Or no, Bailey Zappe's a restricted free agent, so we would have to be twice as stupid to sign Bailey Zappe because he's over in Cleveland as a restricted free agent. Looks like Jacoby Brissett went to Arizona. Zach Wilson's in Miami. Nick Mullins went to Jacksonville. Joshua Dobbs is in New England. Daniel Jones, of course, went to the Colts. Justin Fields is in New York, and Sam Darnold's in Seattle. So we are left with Lance, Heineke, Mariota, Locke, Flacco, Winston Jones, Wentz, Keenum, Mason Rudolph, Easton Stick. I would just go with Easton Stick. I know nothing about Easton Stick besides the fact that he's 29 years old. And we could say, hey, listen, do you think he's going to stick with the team? Josh Johnson, Kyle Allen, Russell Wilson, Teddy Bridgewater, CJ Beathard, Tyler Huntley. There is not a lot of low-hanging fruit right now on this quarterback tree. We are trying to whack the quarterback tree with a big stick and nothing's falling out because you want to know why? The tree's dead. So you are literally waiting for Rodgers and Wilson. You are waiting to go to this is the problem. Giants are going to the prom. We got on our tux. We got our boutonniere, our corsage. We got the limo. We're sitting there and we're waiting and we're hope somebody calls us and say, hey, we're going to go, but we haven't called anybody yet. Skyline says, bring back Reese and McAdoo, please. I can't take this anymore. Mike Lee says, it's a joke of an excuse for the joke of an NFL franchise. Mike Lee also says, HBO logos and video equipment didn't give them a clue. For people that do not know, Paul Schwartz came out today and said that the Giants were initially unaware that the HBO crew that was filming them, that this was going to turn into Hard Knocks. Normally when you do something like this, you sign a contract. You sign a contract that you're going to have certain stipulations, you're going to allow certain things, and you are going to you probably sign a contract with the NFL, and you're going to have certain abilities to edit and certain things to do that, such as that. So, and before you even start filming. So I've got to call bullshit on the Giants. If they're actually saying this, I got to call bullshit. Because you have even said you had creative control over certain aspects. Zach says the Giants are a bad team. They need to stay away from Jobs. Oh, you're true, Joe Pisarcik. Ghost, what's up, Ghost? Dan Jones as agent still robbing NFL teams, really are. James Stein said, here we go. Can the Giants get a free agency and go get a good veteran quarterback? There's no good veteran quarterbacks left. What's up, Blackbird? Good morning. Darius Slayton got Saquon Barkley money. Blackbird also says Aaron Rodgers would get killed behind our offensive line. If I'm Aaron Rodgers and listen, Russell Wilson is going to have to eat a lot of crow if he comes to the Giants. Because Russell Wilson, of course, when he had the Russell Wilson tour after getting released by Denver and still getting paid $40 million from Denver last season and was only going to take the veteran league minimum, which was like $1.6 million, went to the Giants first. And then the Giants said, no, Russell Wilson. You take your 2 Super Bowl appearances, your 1 fucking Super Bowl ring, your MVPs and shit, and just letting you know Daniel Jones is our guy. This is the year of Daniel, so you're going to have no chance to start here. Don't even think about it. Even though the guy's coming off an injury. 2 neck injuries and an ACL. You don't get to start. Not even $1.6 million. Because I'm Joe Shane. I'm the smartest guy in the room. So he would have to literally, if I was Russell Wilson and the Giants called me, I'd be like, I want 50. I want $50 million a year. Please. Shane is so desperate, he wants old Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I have to admit, the Aaron Rodgers signing would be a good signing if it was 5 years ago. This is like the Rams getting Joe Namath at the end of his career. Slayton is the third, is a good 3 wide receiver at best. I said this before about Darius Slayton. 3 years, $36 million is fucking crazy. Not like I say it's a panic move, but we always talk about getting Daniel Jones weapons. We got to get him weapons. Well, you keep getting him all these guys, and still he didn't produce anything. And now Darius Slayton had a chance to hit the free agent market where I was told that he was going to get 15, 16 million. So he took less to stay with the Giants, where he's been a malcontent for the last 3 years and got benched 3 years ago by Brian Daboll couldn't even see the fucking field? He's going to come back because they had bigger offers for playoff teams for him? No. On a playoff team, Greg is right, he is a third to a fourth wide receiver. On the Giants, he's a number 2. Anywhere else, he's a 3 or 4. Let's see. I'd go the Steelers if I was Rodgers. So would I. I'm saying he's not washed up. He just is what he is. He is what he is. Salute, brother. What's up, Big Mark? Big L. Jenkins. What's up, Big Mark? Big L. Jenkins says, we have a backup plan. To the backup plan, to the backup plan, to the backup plan. And back up that plan one more time. Yeah, Richardson and Daniel Jones, Dumb and Dumber Part 2. Actually, it'd be Dumb and Dumber Part 3. So, Fleece 2 organizations related. Jared says there is no great free agent quarterback. Our only hope is that whoever we draft is a stud. Here's the problem, though. Oh, if Paul, I'm going to get back to Jared for a second. Paul, it's on Twitter from Paul Schwartz. It's also, he wrote the article in the New York Post. It's a New York Post article as well. Let's see here. You know what I can do for you? Hold on there, Paul. Hold on. You know what I'm going to do for you guys? Because this is the type of guy I am. Here you go, guys. Here's the article. You can thank the Dahmer for this. I'm gonna put the article in the chat. You can thank Dom because Dom is the one that sent it to me. Let's see here. Here's the problem with that theory, Jared, and I'm not picking on you. Here's the problem with that theory. You have 2 teams ahead of you that both need quarterbacks. Your only hope at this moment in time is if Russell Wilson if ownership, the new owner, she's not new, she's been there like 2 years now, of the Tennessee Titans basically came out a couple weeks back, even before the season, and said that, they're a little leery about taking quarterbacks because they whiffed on Malik Willis and Will Levis, and they still have high hopes for Will Levis. So your hope is this. Everyone should hope to God that Russell Wilson goes to Tennessee, because then you have this thought process that maybe Tennessee is going to ride with Will Levis and Russell Wilson next year and see what happens, because they know they're not going to be a playoff team. And instead of rolling the money at a quarterback and grabbing that transcendental talent that they always talk about, which to me would be Travis Hunter. There is a video from a guy, I think he's called Football Guy, and he does the NFC East. And he did a video today about the Giants, and it cracked me up because it's all the things that Giant fans say and do, and it was just fucking hilarious because I'm sitting there watching, and I'm texting it to people, and I'm like, this is the Giants. This literally is the Giants. And at one point he said we should just draft Travis Hunter, and then we go, and he goes, you know what we should do? We should just let him play quarterback as well. I was like, that's perfect. What's up? What's going on my Verizon? Okay, I had to check. I had a Verizon thing here. Wait a minute. You know what we're gonna do? I don't think it's that long. Here we go. Let me go here. I'm gonna text it to myself, and then I'm gonna play it because it's not very long. It's not very long at all, but it really does sum up the Giant and the Giant fan base. So let's see here. Where do you go, my lovely? We're gonna text something to myself. And you don't want us exposing ourselves. All right, I texted to myself. Let's see here if it comes up. Let me see here. Hold on. Here we go. All right, we're gonna play this. So everyone, listen. Here we go. Let's see. Get this to work. And I can't play it because I don't have it. Wait, here we go. Oh, it just cut off. It just cut off. It just cut off. No audio. Yeah, the audio just cut off. That's all right. The audio cut off. I'm having a problem with the audio. We actually got a new computer coming today. We're having some audio issues here. So here at the Online Big Blue Factory, we're having some audio issues. It's not running, Tim. It's a strategic downward. Paul says, I got that for Paul. Tim says, hey, Tim, will the Giants sign Rodgers to a 4-year contract, $90 million, $22 million a year average? No. Hey, we got Tommy Cutlets. Mega Big L says, smash that like. Blackburn says Jones and Watson stole money. Not really stole since they gave it to him. You got to think about that. They didn't really steal any money. The money was given to them. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. The money was given to them. They didn't steal it. I do not begrudge Daniel Jones for taking the money the Giants gave it to him, because as we say that Joe Shane is a moron, Daniel Jones would be a bigger idiot if he didn't take the cash. Plain and simple. Zach says, can we at least be competitive? Not if you don't have a quarterback. Evan says, Joey G says, we don't tank. No, because John Mara said if he heard any tanking, if he heard anything about tanking, he was not going to he was not going to stand for that. Joe Flacco is now in play. I mean, have we gotten any additional information on Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson? Because I'm still looking. And I still don't see anything. Aaron Rodgers, of course, it says officially becomes a free agent today. I keep seeing these things about Mekhi Becton. I can never say Big Mekhi. About how he might come back to New York. He's another one that I laugh about. That's like Zach Wilson or Sam Darnold coming to the Giants. You had such a horrid experience here. You'll want to come back? Ask Eric Flowers. Eric Flowers like, I'm never going back there. Gino says they need to go all in for Russell at this point because Rodgers is holding the team hostage, and you'll probably pick the Steelers over New York. If you have the legacy of an Aaron Rodgers and your legacy is not tarnished by your Jet history, but your legacy's gone down a little bit, why would you sit there and go, it's the end of my career, I'm going to go play for a losing team? It's not like Justin Fields who goes to the Jets and say, listen, I'm going to, is Rodgers to Pittsburgh? Or are we getting this officially from T-Brad? Is that official, or is that just your speculation that Rodgers has gone to Pittsburgh? Aaron Rodgers is still on the Jets roster. Oh, that's right. Aaron Rodgers is still on the roster at 4 p.m. today. That is correct. He is not a free agent until 4 p.m. today. That is correct. You're right. So hopefully we've waited this whole time for Aaron Rodgers not to pick the Giants. We're going to overpay for Flacco, Winston, or Mariota. I don't think you're going to have to overpay for them. I really don't. I think you get them. I don't think you have to overpay for them. But the problem is you're going to have to ride with one of them unless you get a quarterback. T-Brad says that Aaron Rodgers is unofficially going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Holland is a solid first. I like the Holland signing. I do. I like the safety. You replaced Jason Pinnock, who went to the 49ers, with a huge upgrade. And you hope that he becomes that linchpin and that leader and takes on the leadership role of that Giant secondary. Because it's not going to be Banks. It's not going to be Flott. It's not going to be Newman or Phillips. So he's going to have to be the guy, and he's going to have to step up. He's going to have to come up like 7-Up. 100%. Aaron Rodgers will go to the Vikings. He has the Brett Favre script. Oh, I've already talked about that. That he's going to go. If I was Aaron Rodgers, like I said, I would follow the Brett Favre career. Have my prolific career in Green Bay, have a flame out with the Jets, have a resurgence with the Vikings, and then throw a stupid interception that cost them the chance to go to the Super Bowl. Random question: would it be a mistake if the 49ers paid Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy fits the 49ers. He fits them. He really does. And they're basically already clearing the decks to sign him. And they're going to give him big money. I think they were talking about like $40 million a year or something crazy like that. He fits what the 49ers do. He really does. It's like we talk about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts fits what they do in Philadelphia. He's the right person for the right role. Now, Brock Purdy, you got to remember, in 3 years, has thrown for 9,518 yards, 64 touchdowns, 27 interceptions. Had a bad season last year, but still completed almost 66% of his passes, 3,864 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Coming off his 4,000-yard season with 31 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. So he fits what they do, and he plays well, and they rally around him. So for them, if the contract is like a Jalen Hurts deal, where the big money doesn't come until the latter half of the contract because you can hit him with all this bonus money, and he's only going to count like 5-6% against the cap, it's a no-brainer. Taking my vitamins. Let's see here. Slayton seemed like an overpay, but I guess they figured with a decent quarterback, maybe he'll go to another level. When you reach that upper level, your mind, body, and soul must be one. It's a sacrifice. Got to feel the glow. Got to Bruce Leroy it. When he took down the Shogun of Harlem. What level is he going to go to? He's a 500 to 700 yard wide receiver. And do you really think if they get a better quarterback, and I'm not making fun of you, Jared, but if you really think they get a decent quarterback, the decent quarterback isn't going to target Malik Neighbors more than Darius Slayton? You don't think his catch total is going to drop a little? His throwing percentage on his side isn't going to go down a little bit? I think Wildy Coyote's throwing darts at a list of free agents and say, that's a great plan. I kind of think you're probably right about that, Mike Lee. Let's see here. Let's see what LJ's got to say. From the looks of it, Adebo is almost fully healthy. I don't think someone will question their bone strike can be doing backflips. Oh, my God. Talked about this with Madre Harper and Daniel Jones. Madre Harper, of course, we stole him from the Raiders back in the Joe Judge day, and everyone had to tell me what a great corner he was going to be because he could run really fast. He was really fast. And I kept telling people, you know what, until football is played in a straight line, it doesn't matter. Everyone told me for years, look at that ball placement for Daniel Jones. Oh, his ball placement is improving. It's awesome. And I kept telling people, you know what, ball placement is great when you have no rush and you're wearing shorts. Until you could do a backflip on the field and it means something, it means nothing. It has nothing to do with your ability to stop. It has nothing to do with your ability to start, and go. It has nothing to do with your ability to push off. It has nothing to do with your ability to backpedal. It has nothing to do with your ability to sweep. It's basically because he's a corner to have the full range of motion to make sure he has the ability to move his hips in the right direction. No, but yeah, no, okay. Where did you go to medical school? Idiot you? Most people are sitting there saying, most prognosticators, scouts, and everyone else said this guy is coming off a major bone injury, which a lot of players do not recover from in the NFL. Never come back to full strength, never came back to being what they were. But he could do a backflip. That is the stupidest fucking thing a Giant fan ever says. You win.
Stupid Giant Twitter post.
Oh, we got ourselves a stupid Giant Twitter post. It's not even a Twitter post. He can do a backflip. So everything's going to be okay. Should the Giants trade for 40? No, Brock Purdy's not coming here. Skyline says we are not recreating NASCAR. We are recreating a junkyard. A lot of broken down cars and other teams can salvage and get value out of. Good point. All Broadway says, what's up, Tim? What's up, Mr. Broadway? I haven't seen you in a while. Let's see here. All facts, says Big Mark. I miss Big Mark. I met Big Mark for the first time in person the last game of the season, which him and I think my wife were the only people that showed up to go to that game. Hear me out. Marcus Mariota is the bridge. Trade up for Cam Ward. I love it. I actually did hear you out. I do love that. I do love that a lot. Adebo had a video of him doing a backflip and dunking has nothing to do with football. Dear Lord, for the love of God, it has nothing to do with football. Zero. He was so well thought of. He wasn't even in the top 7 of most boards in reference to free agent corners. Oh, for the love of God. Evan says, I could see a world where we have Tommy DeVito as a star next year. Why won't fans watch it? I'm not going to watch that. Lone Star. May the Schwartz be with you. Make an offer for Joe Milton. Not sure what it will take, but the kid can play. I don't know if he can play yet. Like I said, I didn't have a problem with Milton coming out of college. I did a whole video about him. That I felt that he had the physical attributes to be an NFL quarterback. But I said it didn't mean he was going to be one, but he had the physical attributes. He had the big arm, he had the big body, he had the pocket mobility, he has the speed. You know, the way he played after falling up with Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee, he looked like he could be an NFL starter. But just because you look the part, sort of like doing a backflip, it doesn't mean you can play. And he basically played the garbage time at the end of the season. So I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what we're looking at with Joe Milton. And I mean, honestly, would you get rid of Joe Milton if you were if you were the Pats? Would you go get rid of Joe Milton? Cost you a 7. What are you going to ask for, 3 or a 4? What moron would? You know what? I just thought of this. We should go get Joe Milton. I was about to say, what moron would trade a 3rd or 4th rounder for Joe Milton? Joe Shane. after he played in one game against inferior talent. It just kind of dawned on me. just kind of dawned on me what kind of moron would do that. Off Broadway says if DeVito is named starter, I already know Joe Shane and have their houses on the market for sale. Listen, if you're going to roll with Tommy DeVito as your starter, I'm just going to tell you this. You might as well just quit. I mean, and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be mean about it, but you might as well just call it a day and throw your hands up in the air and wave them like you just don't care, because you're not going to win. You're not going to win anything because he's already proven he's not an NFL quarterback. I've had enough of listening to this joker. See ya. Oh, Bryce is gone. Oh, no. We lost Bryce. Bryce, come back. Without your stupid comments, how are we going to live? Oh, my God, Bryce. Oh, my God, Bryce. It's just like I've said it before. People say, you don't mind when someone leaves, but you know what?
Am I supposed to just turn my back and leave? Am I supposed to be a man? Am I supposed to say, that's okay, I don't mind? I don't mind. Well, I mind. I mind big time. But you know what the worst part of all is? I never learned to read.
That's my Oscar clip. How many people are texting me? People gotta leave me alone. I wouldn't mind Flacco as long as we draft a quarterback. I wouldn't mind Joe Flacco. I would not mind Joe Flacco, and I would not mind Marcus Mariota. I wouldn't mind Jameis Winston. But I wouldn't mind if you have a quarterback. And his name is not Jackson Dart. Why doesn't Jackson Dart did do a backflip the other day. New York breaking news for Mr. Taz. The Giants signed Carson Wentz with a 5-year, $200 million contract. $120 is fully guaranteed. Well done, Joe Shane. No, that's something the Eagles do. God, no. He's basically Jake Fromm. No, he's not Jake Fromm. Danny Dunn says the Giants have an ownership problem. They need to be brought up by somebody else. Well, I canceled my season tickets, and they did sell 10% of the team. Zach says, whoever Daniel Jones' agent is, I would hire them on my job search. Yeah. Greg says maybe to try persuade New England for Joe Milton. But we talked about this before, Greg. Why would you do that? You have Drake May, who's still an unproven commodity. You have Drake May, who's not a proven commodity right now. You don't know what he's going to be yet. Joe Milton, while he looked good, did play against scrubs at the last game of the season. And we've seen it in the past that the first guy sometimes flames out. We always go to the RG3, Kirk Cousins. RG3 was taken first. Kirk Cousins Everyone laughed at the Skins for taking Kirk Cousins. Who had a better, more prolific career? Kirk Cousins. You even go back to the Washington team again. He's Schuler, quarterback, big quarterback coming out. Everyone loved him. They also take Gus Frerotte in the same draft. Who had a better, longer career? Gus Frerotte. You don't know. So why roll the dice when you know you have two quarterbacks? Aaron Rodgers will save the season. Basketball? Already drama before we sign Rodgers. No thanks. I agree. Mr. Alvarez, Russell Wilson is using the Giants to leverage a better contract because he knows the Giants have to reach out to him. Aaron Rodgers goes. You're right. You're going to have to. Jennifer, what's up? Hey, Tim. Big John wants Roger because he sees the spike in the merchandise sale, especially after the loss last year in sales. Extend the goal post. He's a big Archie Manning guy. You know, I could see the Giants making that type of move. Like I said, the Rams did it in the 70s when they went and got Joe Willie Namath. They did the same thing at the end of his career. We knew he was washed up, but he was going to put butts in the seats, and they thought they could catch magic in a bottle. And that flamed out horribly. So I could see the Giants needing, and I said this before, right now, if you sign Aaron Rodgers, it's a signal that the Giants do not want to be good. They just want to be relevant. They just want to control the back page for a period of time if possible. And I kind of think that's where the oh wait, what is going on? You know, we only have 37 likes. We have 114 people watching. We have another 100 and something on the other things and other things and all that. So make sure you hit the like button or I'm going to sing again. And we don't want that. What's your ideal scenario with the remaining quarterbacks? My ideal scenario is, I'm going to say it again. I would call right now to Tennessee, give them what they want, and I would sign Marcus Mariota. So this way I have Marcus Mariota, former number one pick, former starter, professional, mentoring my kid, and you start Mariota for like the first 6 games, and then you bring in Cam Ward. So our premier free agents aren't bad, and our depth pieces are actually worse looking than the ones we're replacing. Well, if you want to get technical, yes. That's just a technicality. Mike Glenn, what's up, Big Mike? Jones and Richardson will finally compete for starting jobs as they should have when Jones was here. $14 million for 1 year again, making Jones' deal look worse. It really does. Aaron Rodgers is still on the Jets. Yep, and we talked about that. He's still on the Jets roster until 4 p.m. Unofficial. What about I like Joe Milton, but I said we're not getting Joe Milton. It would be insanity at its finest to trade a 3rd or 4th round guy for a guy they took in the 7th round who hasn't done anything yet. It would be, and I like Joe Milton. That would be insanity at its finest. And like I said, it would be insane. It would be stupid. It's a Joe Shane move. So let's saddle up, cowboy, and let's do it. Mr. Taz says Aaron Rodgers follows the Brett Favre storyline, will be later life defrauding the California welfare system. Did he defraud California or Oregon? I forget. Hell no on Joe Flacco. I agree. Greg says Brock Purdy won't produce outside of the 49ers. He's a perfect situation regarding the players and Shanahan's playing the calls. Trevor says, I feel like I don't see the light. We get Rodgers, another vet, then draft a quarterback. So now we have the weird stopgap situation. Vet quarterback doesn't sign. Now we have a Russia rookie into the action. Bleak for Joe Shane. Joe Shane is trying to save his job. Brian Dable is trying to save his job. So it makes sense for them to put themselves in a situation. The signings that Joe Shane made this year, even the depth pieces, is things that he should have done in year 1 of his tenure. He's in year 4. So he should have did it year 1, not year 4. He's acting like he's going to have the job for the term of his contract. Daniel Jones, next flag football quarterback. Let's see here. Gino says exactly. Rodgers coming to New York makes no sense. It makes 0 sense for coming. It really does. Mr. Roberts says, hey, Tim, do you think the compensatory 3rd round pick for the Giants will help move up to the number 1 to get Ward in the draft? I was going to talk about that. So the Giants got an additional 3rd round pick, which is the 99th pick. And there was rumors and speculations, I don't know how much it was true, that the Titans were looking at a swap of ones and 2 number 3s. I think that's you would have to throw in a little bit something else into 2026. But I thought that was fair. And if the Giants have 2 number 3s this year and can go from 3 to 1, why not? But I don't know if that would, I mean, that was the rumors and speculation from Tennessee, but why not? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you run out and do that in a heartbeat? RF, what's up, RFD says, lol, 2 of the 3 best guards on the market are Becton and Zeidler. Will Hernandez, no thanks. I'm 47. I can do a backflip. Well, Greg, you should play in the NFL. Greg. All right, we just there's a whoops, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna give it a Greg. Round of applause for Greg. Hold on. There's a news flash here. The Giants have just signed Greg because he can do a backflip. Greg, gotta love it, man. That was funny as shit. That was funny as shit. I'm rooting for the Giants to get Joe Milton. All right. I mean, I would like Joe Milton, but I'm not giving up a 3rd round, 4th round pick for Joe Milton. Sorry, I can't. And I like Joe Milton. I did a whole video about Joe Milton. Giants got a stupid fan base. Am I supposed to disagree? I think I've. All right, says Giant fans' new criteria for defensive back in Tim's voice. He can make all the backflips. He can do all the backflips on Sunday. That's a good one, Greg. You get that. Kyle McCord. I like Kyle McCord. I like Kyle McCord. I have tried since the beginning of this season to dislike Kyle McCord. And I've told Big Don from Texas that, who's a Syracuse fan, huge Syracuse fan, and he's been convincing me about Kyle McCord since the beginning of the season. And I watched all his games. I watched that big win in Miami. I watched the loss. And I saw him at the combine. He looks the most at the combine out of the group, at A and B group. He looked the most pro ready. And he just has this. And if you watch him play, there's a lot to like about Kyle McCord. He's got the big arm. I've said it before, he's fucking surgical between 15 and 30 yards. You're getting a big kid, prototypical quarterback who understands the pocket, looks downfield. If he came out in 2024, he probably would have been a Joe Milton type pick. But this year, I think he could potentially be like a 3rd or a 4th rounder. But he's got this je ne sais quoi. He's got something about him. And I tried all year to dislike him. It's like Cam Ward. When the season started, I was a Carson Beck guy. I was projecting big things for Carson Beck this year, and Carson Beck, of course, went and hit the portal and went to Miami. And I watched State. I was never a big fan of Cam Ward. I thought he was a little bit overrated, but he played well. But when he hit Miami, there was this progression. There was this curve that just kind of went up, and you were kind of like, okay, he's doing. And even in some of the losses, I was like, okay, because I've said this before. You can never watch just highlights of a player. That is the worst thing to do. You need to watch the entire game, because sometimes on the good plays, they do bad things. And sometimes on the bad plays, they do good things. And that's the kind of player Cam Ward was. There was the fumble at the end of the Syracuse game. Not Syracuse game. Was it Virginia Tech game? I don't remember. But another one they lost. There was the fumble at the end of the game when he was trying to drive Miami down the field to get the game-winning score. He fumbled in the pocket. But he extended the play. Now, some people look at the lowlights and say, well, that was a bad play. No, he was in the pocket looking downfield. He extended the play himself, getting out of the pocket, getting out of harm's way, looking downfield. He had maybe a 6 or a 7 yard run in front of him. But instead of just taking those 6 or 7 yards, knowing that the limit of time he had on the clock, he didn't take off. He stayed not in the pocket. He already moved out of the pocket, but he stayed behind the line of scrimmage, looking to make the throw downfield. And that's when the ball was knocked out from behind. Tim, I think the Iowa State Porter is going to be a sleeper with blazing speed and a size at 6'4". We'll have to look him up. Tim, we are not getting Cam. I know. I can hope, right? James Williams, we hit the iceberg. The asteroid has struck. Jaws has jumped onto the boat. This is bad. What's up, R0B in the his house? What's up? I haven't seen you. I haven't talked to you in a while, Rob. I don't know. I just haven't talked to you, Rob. I forgot that I was going to do this earlier because it's my third stream in a row. I'm going to put the link in the chat if the boys are out there, if T-Brad and everyone's out there. I'll put the link in the chat, see what's going on. We'll get the official, unofficial report from T-Brad if he's around. Let's see what Scorpion says. Sign Jameis Winston, dropped Abdul Carr at 3, and then Jalen Milroe in the second round. Jalen Milroe really helped himself in the combine. He really pushed it to the next level. He's been working hard on his throwing motion. He's been working hard on his footwork, and you could see it paid off. Because if you were looking for a true physical specimen at that combine, it was now he didn't pull a Mike Mamula, but he could have potentially pulled a Jalen Milroe. And those that do not know about Mike Mamula, he is the poster child for combine warrior that had that stock rose, shot up exponentially, but he didn't do much in the pros. He was the poster child he's a cautionary tale for the combine. But Jalen Milroe, I think, helped him. I think his season dropped him out of first round consideration, and maybe into the latter half, maybe 6th or 7th round. But I think he moved himself back up into the mid round. Abdul Carter, I'm leery about Abdul Carter. Off the ball linebacker for 2 years at Penn State, played well. They figured out his speed could translate in reference to rushing the passer, has his big season. He has this nice little shoulder dip move that he uses to get around slower offensive tackles. But like I said, go back to the bowl game. He did have the 1 sack, but as soon as he tried to do that little move, and he couldn't because of the shoulder injury, the tackle just put him in the dirt. It's kind of like your kid brother, get the fuck out of here. And then he has the potential foot issue, which isn't an issue. And then he couldn't go to the combine and participate in the combine because his shoulder was still hurt. I see him being boom or bust. I don't see a middle ground. And the problem with this draft is it happens, and this is why free agency this year was so important. The problem with this draft was that you're not hitting the lake. The problem with this draft is that every 10 years or so, you run into a draft where the talent is good. The top 10 talent in this draft, in my mind, could be excellent. And most prognosticators will tell you anything after this, you're talking about starters and backups, starters and roster fillers. That's what this draft is. You have some great players in the top, but then you're probably not going to get those all pros. It happens in the NBA all the time. What is it? Just in from Chat Sports. The New York Giants are trading Joe Shane and a bag of chips for Joe Burrows. That seems about right for Chat Sports. RF says, Colt fans watching DJ and Richardson in training camp. Oh, no, we suck again. SpongeBob character, my eyes. What's up, Brian? In Darius Slayton defense, he has led the Giants in receiving 4 out of 6 years he has been here. Those 700-yard seasons were accomplished with Daniel Jones as his quarterback. But I had to hear for years, Brian, that Daniel Jones was a competent quarterback. Are you telling me these people were wrong? Is that what you're telling me? No, I understand what you're saying, but he's still a 3rd or 4th wide receiver on a good team. Mr. Taz, Titans won the Giants 2025-2006 first rounders, 2 third rounders. This year, the 2026 second year, because the Giants likely would give that all up for Cam Ward. We might. Slayton's best season was without Daniel Jones, with Tyrod Taylor. Taylor didn't have any problems with Slayton dropping the balls. Interesting. Yes and no. Tyrod Taylor did have drops. Darius Slayton did have drops with Tyrod Taylor. I'm not picking on Darius Slayton, because again, if someone's going to offer you the money, take it. But for people to say he was worth at least 15, 16 million a year, that was fucking crazy. Because if he was worth that, he would have won out and got a 3-year, $45 million contract instead of taking a 3-year, $36 million contract with the Giants. Hey, Tim, what's up, Stanley? I think Jalen Milroe can be the next breakout rookie of the year next season. Well, if he plays with the Giants, he's going to get the opportunity to start. Trevor says you make a good point about Shane misses steps in year one. Cap situation wasn't the best, but there was a lot of teams like the Eagles that have managed their caps with intense cap situations and handled them better than Joe Shane. Yeah. The Eagles are the poster child of what to do with the salary cap. They really are. And I hate them for it. They will go through like a 1-season decline like they did after the Super Bowl when we got screwed by them losing a game because a 6-10 team like us should have made the playoffs. But they've remanaged, they retooled, and they do it quickly. Blackbird says, highlight only shows you the player's good plays. I know, I love when people are like, did you see the highlights? Yeah, because that's the only good plays. I even have a highlight tape somewhere. And literally, it's a tape. It's a VHS tape. Trevor says, who do you prefer at third overall pick for us? Should we trade up? I still say we trade up. Don't give up the farm, but give honest value for the pick. Go back and take a look. This is the day, Brian Burns. Shaking my head. There are Russell Wilson Rodgers, who is left realistically. Well, we've talked about it. Let's give him something to talk about. Trey Lance, Tyler Heineke, Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, Carson Wentz, Case Keenum, Mason Rudolph, Easton Stick, that's my guy, Cooper Rush, Brandon Allen, Josh Johnson, Kyle Allen, Russell Wilson, Teddy Bridgewater, CJ Beathard, Brett Rippin. Why do I keep calling Ripken? Jeff Driscoll, Tyler Huntley, Tim Boyle, Bailey Zappi. And Bailey Zappi's an unrestricted free. He's a restricted free agent. One lonely beastie I be. Don't forget to hit the like. We're at 52 likes, 113 people. We need to be at like 80 likes, or I'm gonna sing. And we know you don't want that. What do we got here? I don't know how I feel about Shador at 3. If he's available, I want Hunter. If Ward was gone, but now that we signed Adebo, not sure how I feel about it. Maybe the trade down. Here's the thing. Unless your thought process is to make Travis Hunter a wide receiver. And I personally do not think that is his best position. I think his best position is going to be at corner. Because with his size and with his frame, I think, and his athletic ability, I think he's going to be more of a lockdown corner than he will ever be a star wide receiver. Said it before. That's not a bad thing. I think he's more Devontae Smith. But then here's the other thing. You still have Wan'Dale Robinson. You still have now Darius. You brought back Darius Slayton, and you have Malik Neighbors. Are you really going to? Is he going to be the number 2? Or the number 3 if you make him a wide receiver? And now that you signed Adebo and you still have Banks, would Travis Hunter come in here be the third corner? Or would he replace Banks? Travis Hunter really no longer makes sense for the Giants. T-Brad says, Mike Mamula got drafted before Warren Sapp. That's when the Eagles couldn't draft. You're right. I forgot about that. Wow, that's right. Hey, Mr. Taz, you guys couldn't draft. Let's see. The Giants going to use their third overall pick on a running back and try to make Saquon Barkley. Forget about Giants fans. Forget about Saquon Barkley. Saquon who? Already forgot about him. Mike Lee says, gotta head out for lunch. Catch you later. Mike Lee's always heading out to lunch. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If someone wants to jump on and say hello, here you go. There's the link. Damn it, people. Make sure you smash that like button. Yeah, listen to Carlos. Oye, como va? Listen to Carlos. We're at 55. I can't drive. That's it. 55. When I drive that slow, you know it's hard to steer. And I can't get my car out of second gear. What took 2 hours now takes all day. It took me 15 hours to get to LA. So go and write me up for 125. Post my face for a dead or alive. Take my license. All that jive. Because you want to know why I can't drive? What? 55. That's it. So we got 55 likes. I said 80. By Tim's math, 56 minus 80, we still need 497 more likes. I wonder who will get injured first? That's a good question. That should be a pool. Who will get injured first, DJ or Anthony Richardson? We haven't had a decent outside linebacker since Jesse Armstead. That's the other thing with the Giants. We need linebackers. We don't have any. There's already talk and speculation they have already fallen out of love with Bobby Okereke, and we all know, if we're being honest, we overpaid Bobby Okereke by about $5 million a year for an off-the-ball linebacker. I like the idea of Nick Bolton, but of course Nick Bolton resigned with the Kansas City Chiefs because Nick Bolton, who was also an off-the-ball linebacker, I think you could play on the outside because he's a three-down guy who does have some issues in coverage in reference to not understanding where he needs to be, and he gets picked out of a lot of plays. But I think you could correct that. I mean, are the Giants, and this is not a draft for linebackers either. This is not a draft. You look at this draft, go, that guy's Carl Banks, that guy's Lawrence Taylor, that guy's Jesse Armstead, that guy's Alex Ogletree. The only Giants who give Slayton that type of money. I agree. RF says, I'm not going to start taking a shot every time someone mentions Jalen Milroe. Now you'll die of alcohol poisoning. Glenn, what's up, Glenn? If we get Aaron, we will make the playoffs. Soccer? Little League? And we're not making the playoffs, Glenn. I love you, man, but we're not making the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers. I think the bet should be this. Between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, who would get hurt first for the Giants? And at that point in time, how many games would both of them have the ability to play? Tim, when JPP had his backflips, I admit I was impressed, but I was wondering, can the man play football? The Jets are supposedly a playoff team with Rodgers and what happened. Thank you, Blackbird. And the Jets are better than the Giants. He also had more weapons with the Jets. That's what I don't get. They brought in his favorite wide receivers. They went out and traded for his favorite wide receiver. They helped rebuild the offensive line. They have two running backs. And how many games did the Jets win with Aaron Rodgers? I forget. How many games did he throw for 200 yards or less? No, it's not easy being a Giant fan. It's really not. Think about it. You got to deal with a lot. You got to deal with a team and the Eagles that have gone to 3 Super Bowls in 7 years and won 2 of them. You got Dak Prescott that always kills the Giants, and now you have a potential perennial winner in Washington. It's not easy being a Giant fan. Tim, I remember Jets wanted Sapp and got Kyle Brady, and I think the Vikings could have gotten Warren Sapp too. There's a lot of teams that passed on Sapp because Sapp evidently had a little wacky weed problem. Blackbird says, I just got out of the job interview about 20 minutes ago. Hope it went well. Let's all hope that Blackbird did well in his job interview. You'll nail it. Omega Supreme.
Autobots, roll out. We roll.
The Giants overpaying will sell their picks and under product. I am sure the training camp will be the best of all time, like last year's training camp snake oil. Here's the problem with the Giants training camp the last 4 years, 10 years, 11 years. It's always was the best players. Best team. They're going to be a shocking team. Even the 7-2 season. Should have lost the Tennessee game. Should have lost the Jacksonville game. Tennessee doesn't miss the kick, we lose. Jacksonville doesn't have 2 interceptions called back on bad penalties and doesn't get stopped at the 1. Should have lost the Washington game. That 7, and I kept telling people that 7-2 start was an aberration because the football was like a one-man cold to Clifford Franklin. Clifford Franklin only went catching it. Clifford Franklin only went coming down with it. Sometimes the ball bounces a weird way. You have a period of time in sports where you just get lucky. They always say, there's always that sports cliche, they got all the breaks. And that's true. And that 7-2 start, we got all the breaks. Because then we went 2-5-1. Then we went 6-10. I mean, where do you go there? Man, are you always walking?
Yeah, dude.
You're always walking. You always have Giant gear on.
Oh, yeah, because it's raining. Well, so I decided to put on my beanie.
You got the beanie on in California, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of raining right now. So, yeah. All
So,
right.
so Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Strider, Aaron Rodgers.
I
What does he
kind of
do?
don't want him, but I mean, he is an upgrade, but I'm not a big fan of his because he does a lot of stupid stuff. And I'm not a big fan of him appearing on the Pat McAfee show week in, week out. I
You know,
mean, if I had to
I didn't even
choose,
think
it's
about that.
Russell.
You would
Yeah,
take Russell Wilson.
I think so, but I mean, God, they're both not good choices, but they're at least improvements. They're better than Tommy DeVito.
Are you sure?
Uh, I'm sure.
Well, no, I'm only asking. I'm only being facetious because I mean, how many? And this was the question I was asking on the stream a second ago. How many games do you think at their age behind this giant offensive line that either of these guys will compete in out of 17 games?
I mean, I know like with them, we have a shot, but I just don't know if it's good enough to even make playoffs. I'm going to say like 4 or 5 wins.
That's what I'm saying. You're still at 4 or 5. You're probably going to drop 25, 30, 40 million on one of these guys.
Yeah, and then Joe's going to get fired with Dable,
And then we go back to ground zero because we don't have a quarterback still going into the 2026 draft. And Archie Manning's not coming out to 2027. Let's be honest.
yeah,
Everyone's got to say that. He's not coming out till 2027.
Yeah, I hear a lot of Giants saying that, like they're joking around, like, "Oh, we're gonna wait till Archie Manning comes out." I'm like, it'll be too late by then, and plus, who knows? What if Archie's not, you know, interested in being drafted for the Giants?
There was already talking speculation that he wanted to go to the West Coast.
And that's fine. Maybe he'll play for the Chargers. Who knows? Just kidding.
No, because they could trade Justin Herbert to us.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Smart thing that Justin Herbert ever did was when he heard the Giants were interested in him when Dave Gettleman was GM, he went back to school.
Back to college. I love that because that is people blasted him. Justin Herbert was for going back to college. I
don't blame him,
and I don't. As a Giant fan, I was like, can you really blame him?
Yeah, and I mean, look how much the Charger fans are pissed off when Eli didn't want to be a Charger, but I'm all like, well, he didn't trust Chargers management at that time too, so that'll be funny, a complete 180 after that if Arch Manning comes out.
So, Aaron Rodgers officially becomes a free agent at 4:00 today. So
that's going to be interesting.
I think he's probably going to make his move today. Like, I think he'll probably announce something at 4:00. Where do you think that Aaron Rodgers
goes? If Aaron Rodgers is smart, he'd try to go to the Steelers. It's structured there, I think. It's better structured there.
Now, if neither Rodgers or Wilson come, who are we going with?
That's what she said.
Who are we going with?
If the Giants don't get either of them?
Right. If neither one of them comes to New York.
I'd like to joke around and say Jameis Winston, but even I'm now getting second feelings about getting him because I keep hearing that rumors that you were talking about it. He's not much of a film dude.
No, he's not. He's not a film dude. He has not been a film dude since Florida State.
Yeah, so that's what's shocking to me. I'm like, I know he does these boneheaded mistakes, but okay, not being a film guy, that's really important if you want to be the bridge and mentoring a young QB. So Flacco or somebody, but Flacco's like 40 years old.
Yeah,
so,
he actually is 40 years old right now.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like we're running out of options, and yeah, my next bet is Flacco or somebody.
I mean that's all I can think about right now is the fact that we are going to start free agency in about a little less than 4 hours.
Yeah,
we start free agency, and we don't have a quarterback on the roster outside of Tommy DeVito.
Oh yeah.
I mean that to me is. I mean, you should immediately be fired as a general manager if you are going to go into the official true kickoff of free agency and you have no quarterback on your roster.
Yeah, I know. I think this is like the first time I've noticed as a Giants fan, like we don't even have two quarterbacks start like in the off season. Like even in the 90s, we had Dave Brown and Danny Cannell or whoever it was.
Graham and Danny Cannell.
Yeah, and then
Well,
after
technically,
that, yeah,
first you had Phil Simms, Dave Brown.
Yeah.
You had Dave Brown, Kenny Cannell, Ken Grant.
yeah. But then like just one quarterback, which is DeVito, it's we're not like in good hands right now. So that's something Joe needs to figure out.
Free agency.
Yeah.
Thought process. What's your thought on what we've done on free agency so far this year?
Okay, when we signed the Debo guy, or you call him Adobo,
I like
I
Adobo.
thought it was I thought it was a 3 years, like he was getting 18 million 6 years, and I was like, okay, I guess that's okay with that. But when I heard it was 18 million per year or something like that,
It's 18 million on average, and he's 54 million, 36 guaranteed.
yeah, I was like, oh, I just hope the man's healthy.
Well, he
I
was doing
mean,
backflips.
oh, what's that got to do with football?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm all like, can he cover? Can he?
Can he still stop on a dime and give someone 9
Yeah,
cents?
yeah, like because the way if someone breaks a femur, even if it's like tear, I know it's not ligaments, but when someone breaks something, it's gonna take some time for him to get back.
Right.
Like it's gonna be a slow process until he feels confident enough where he can play without thinking about his broken femur.
Well, the thing with femur is that's a bone as an NFL player you don't want to break. That's what most people say.
Yeah, and that's
time is much greater, and it also is not an easy injury to come back from.
And like you said, that injury you get could become like the weakest part of your body too.
Right.
If you ever, hurts it. I do like the safety signing from the Dolphins. I think. I didn't think we were gonna get a safety. I thought we were gonna re-sign Jason Pinnock. But the signing of the safety was, everyone knows. I think it's like, yeah, Joe Shade admitting he screwed up and should have stayed with Xavier McKinley, right?
Yeah. To people that talk about the Adobo and the femur, Joe thought, I'm going to give you a couple people that I can think of right off the top of my head. Just going back a little bit, but Joe Theismann broke his femur. Earl Thomas broke his femur. Nick Chubb broke his femur. Never came back to being old. And those are three guys just off the top of my head I can think of.
When you say Joe Theismann, that was the LT sack, right? The flea flicker play.
That was the
stupid enough to try it against the Giants, right?
And that ended his career.
Yeah.
I mean, has Nick Chubb been the same since he broke his femur?
No, and I'm gonna tell you, I really like Nick Chubb too. And
yeah,
when he got hurt, I was like, oh, I don't know if he's gonna come back for that one.
Earl Thomas was in the same thing. Earl Thomas was not the same player after he broke his.
I think like he heard it trying to make a play or something like that, like trying to tackle someone, and it was bad. Yeah, I remember that one, and then I think that's the famous one where Earl Thomas was flicking everybody off when he got carted off.
Yeah. Yes. yes, it was. So, like I said, there is a history of people that did not come back to be them with this, and that's why people crack me up. They're like, "Well, he can do a backflip." Oh, okay, great. Until backflip is what you have to use in reference to cover somebody. I don't think that's I don't think that's the reason why to say, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be fine."
I guess the fans are commenting about the backflips because remember JP did like almost 20 backflips on his video, but I remember thinking about that. I was like, can the man play football? And it turns out, as raw as he was, he can play football, and he was pretty good, and he helped us get a Super Bowl ring.
JPP is one of my favorite players.
I know. Oh my God. So the quarterback thing, Tim, I'm so I'm a little bit stressed out about that because we don't know who we're gonna get.
Well, hopefully by after 4 p.m. today, we'll have some type of indication where the Giants may go quarterback.
Okay, who would you choose though? Aaron or Russell?
Neither. Neither. I would still bring him.
Yeah, I don't want either too, but
for number one. I mean, I can't break the back. I
Yeah.
can't
Oh
$20
dear Lord.
on either one of these guys. And knowing that they are no future within
Yeah,
this
and just
organization
for a
outside.
1-year deal.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Giants do this. They want to be
Yeah.
relevant, not good. My brother, I'm gonna have to let you roll.
Yeah.
A lot of feedback here from your traffic.
So
I do appreciate you coming on. I'm also losing here, man. But
yeah,
thanks for coming on as always. Always
no
appreciate
problem.
having you come in and having a good time. Be careful out there. Walking, man. Stay safe. There we go. That was a good little interview. I like when Strider comes on. That says Timmy, if we draft Hunter, he insists on playing both ways, you need to hire Tibbs to manage the minutes. Yeah, Thibodeau knows. Yeah, because Thibodeau really knows how to manage the minutes. Omega Supreme said Evan Neal will get hurt first, then the sideline. You know what I love about the Mekhi Becton thing? The Giants are like, well, Giants like, we should go get Beckham. We should go get Mekhi. Besides the fact that he probably never wants us to come here, do you really want to have both him and Evan Neal on the same team? I mean, Zach Wilson's Blackbird. Zach Wilson and Mike White won more games than Aaron Rodgers as a Jet. Jennifer says nobody wants to trade down. You need a partner in the league. No, Shane is a clown show, and he telegraphs their draft needs. It's a trade to one or nothing. I actually think that kind of sums it up. It is really a trade. I mean, I would not trade down. It is a trade for one or nothing. Jennifer's right. Because at the end of the day, everyone knows we need a quarterback. And there's only one team at one. So the Giants, the Cowboys still owe us. They do. Thank you. I think the interview went well. Of course it went well. You can't be like Blackbird. You can't be like, I think it went well. You got to be like, I rocked that shit. I'm the man. Stanley says, hey, Tim, with the Giants land Aaron Rodgers, they will no longer be owned by the Cowboys because Rodgers owns them. You're right, but I don't see it happening. Blackbird says the training camp or the Jones camp. That's a good question. Mark Hernandez, what's up, Big Mark? What's up, Tim? Let's go. G-Man, general manager, better fix the mess he created. And that's the thing. That's a very astute point by Mark. The mess we're in now is no longer the Gettleman mess. The mess we're in now is no longer the Jerry Reese mess. The mess that has been created the last 3 years is all Joe Shane. The drafts, the free agents, the trades, the coaches, or the coach. That's all Joe Shane. I am still concerned about Brian Dable. Everyone loves your personality no matter what it is when you win. When you're a winner, like I've said it before, when you're a winner, you can be Belichick. You can be Parcells. You can be that truculent asshole that makes these funny comments. Joe Shane during 7-2 was very jocular. He was terse with the media at times, but he still had this ability to, and everyone laughed. Ha ha ha. As soon as he started losing, the facade started to crack. When you go 2-5 and 1-6-10, then you win 3-14 the next year. Nobody's laughing. Nobody's laughing at it anymore. We're all kind of saying, is he even? We're kind of saying, same with Joe Shane. Are they learning on the job? Because now it's year 4, and I don't think they've gotten any better. Petra, what's up? Can you tell Rodgers to hurry up the shit up? I'm already becoming impatient. We won't know until after 4 o'clock. They overpaid. Omega Supreme says they overpaid for Slayton. They got so much talent that they shined after they left, and they don't want the same mistake to happen. Maybe. T-Brad, Joe must go. Mr. Jackson says, I told you Joe was pissed away from free agency. This breaks my heart. Besides the Holland signing, we didn't address the offensive needs. Joe needs to recover in the draft. That's the problem. We don't have, you don't have 100 picks in the draft. You got 7, 8? So, and retooling through the draft in 1 year is difficult. Especially if you're a bad team and need everything. Because you still look at it, you still need a safety. I'm not sold on Tyler Nubin. I'm sorry. Not sold on Tyler Nubin. I'm sorry. I can't tell you why. I can tell you why. He should be a linebacker in my mind. He should be that quasi linebacker in the box safety. Not sold on Cordell Flott. You have a question mark with Deontay Banks. You got a question mark with a guy coming back from a broken femur. And we went through a list of guys just at the top of my head in reference to Earl Thomas, Nick Chubb, and Joe Theismann, who broke their femurs and never came back to be close to what they were. So you're not sold on Adebo. I like adobo. It's going to be a new sound like Adebo likes adobo. But you're not sold. I'm not sold on him yet because I don't know what he's going to be yet because he's still coming off the injury, backflips and all. You still have two defensive ends that can't play the run. You have one linebacker. McFadden never saw a tackle he couldn't miss. You have no outside linebackers. And you went up and got a 32, soon to be 32-year-old defensive tackle as a rotational piece. And you hope that Jordan Riley and people behind him can actually be something special. You go out and get a swing tackle. He's not a starting tackle. You still have questions potentially at two of the guard positions. You still have an undersized center that gave up the most sacks in the NFL by a center last year and gets bullied around with a bull rusher. You have to hope Tyrone Tracy does not have the sophomore slumps and becomes a New Orleans Darkwall. You have no running back depth behind him. You have Devin Singletary who's going to be stuck on this roster because you gave him a $6 million contract with a $6 million dead cap number. You still need a number 2 behind Malik Neighbors. You need a tight end. And you only need, according to Joe Shane, the most important position in football, the quarterback. So there was no way in hell we were going to fix all this in one draft and one free agency, but maybe we could have did it over 4. Oh, wait, we're in year 4 of the Joe Shane regime. Joe must go. Joe must go. The New York Giants under Joe Shane love injured players from other teams. We really do, don't we? Let's see here. To be fair, Joe was 62 when he broke his leg. He was only like 30-something when he broke his leg. People think some of these players are so old. He was only like 30-something, Joe Theismann. Yeah, but what about Earl Thomas and Nick Chubb? I could probably Google it, but I'm too lazy. Joe loves to shop Ross dress for less or TJ Maxx. Name brands at discount, but slightly irregular. Those are the only players willing to cover. Dale, you're not right. Oh, hey, Tim. Can a road, and I like to have, can I have one for the road, or else I'll have to give sarcasm.
I prefer your vet.
Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
You're supposed to say button 24, Dennis. Trade the third to the Colts for Daniel Jones so we can cut him again during the camp. Reports are Giants choices for quarterback. Rodgers 1, Wilson 2, Flacco 3. I like baseball, not as much as I used to, but there's an old baseball analogy that goes back to the Cleveland Indian days when the Cleveland Indians only had 2 starters, and it was Spawn and Sane and Pray for Rain. So now it's Rodgers and Wilson and Pray for Flacco. I mean, geez, we might as well just drive the car off the bridge now. If the Giants give their compensatory took 3rd round pick and a 3rd round pick compensatory, would that be enough to move up to number 1? You have to swap ones, of course. And that was the rumor. And I thought that was kind of light. But if that was the actual rumor that they would take 2 3s and a swap of 1s, and you're only going from 1 to 3, and you can still get Travis Hunter if that's your object of your affection, yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat. They will get a quarterback in the draft to transition after getting a veteran. Well, the problem is this. Let's say you whiff on all these guys. And let's say you bring in a 40-year-old Flacco. You don't get your quarterback in the draft. So you're going to have Flacco, maybe Tyler Heineke, and Tommy DeVito. There's no guarantee unless you go up and get that first pick that you're going to get a quarterback. There's no guarantee. And there's no guarantee that the quarterback's there. And I love these draft boards. Hit 70 likes. We're at 70. 108 people still in the chat. Got 70 likes. Let's get up to 80 before we check out of here. We got a large number of people following us on that other thing. You're not allowed to say what the other thing is because then they get mad at you and they what you call it? They knock you out. Mama says knock you out. Who's sending me messages on Twitter? Don't message me on Twitter when I'm working. I'm busy. Let's see. Speaking of the interview, I finally got one. I hope I get it. Final interview so I can have some hours, continue working as a volleyball coach. Well, I hope you get it. Speaking of interviews, I didn't know you had it. You were just on. Why didn't you tell me you were getting an interview? Well, good luck to your interview tomorrow. Just remember, you're the man. You go into an interview, you always remember this. And this goes for everyone. You're going with the confidence that they need you. You don't need them. You go in there and you be not aggressive, but you just come off with confidence, an air of confidence that what you have, the shit you have, is what they want. And they would be lucky to have you. And they would be, Strider. You go for it, brother. Todd Taylor's This is Pearly Joe Shane shit show. Looks completely incompetent. Shout out to Jennifer, who reported the Giants' first free agent move. Oh, that's right. She did, didn't she? Oh, T-Brad, man, you know all this shit. Glenn's, let's see, that's all Joe's mistake for number one, paying Daniel Jones. Not staggering the contracts of, well, we could go through all of the messes. We could literally go through all the messes. Now who's texting me? People gotta stop texting me, man. I got a computer coming between 11:45 and 3:45. Well, it's 12:31. Glenn, what's up, team?
Wow, that was fast. Thank you.
That's
what she said.
I was a little busy earlier. I wanted to jump on. You guys were covering some good stuff.
Well, I'm glad we were covering some good stuff. I don't know what the hell it was.
Yeah, shout out to Jennifer Brooks. She reported the first free agent.
She did.
Yes, she was the one who reported the Adebo joint. So shout out to her.
I forgot all about it. Don't text. I love this. Don't text, and podcast. Well, evidently you've never been on this show before, Ox. Oxacillin, blah, blah, blah. You've never seen this show before because I text, I take phone calls, I answer the door, I walk the dog. We do all those things on this show. So what good stuff were we talking about?
You guys were just talking about Aaron Rodgers, where we're going, what we're doing. I was like, that's some pretty interesting stuff. I'm back into depressed mode. This year is a wash. I've already chalked it up.
You've already thrown in the flag, T-Brad?
Oh yeah. The moment you have an idiot who doubles down on stupid and tell an all-pro guy, we can't afford you. You go out, see your market, come back. Okay. You go and give Darius Slayton without any push. You don't let him go and see his market value and come back. And you pay him the same amount of money as the money that you paid for Slayton would have kept Barkley.
Yeah.
So I can't double. I can't believe that this guy's going to get it right and get smart all of a sudden. He's a freaking idiot.
Do you believe the rumors from Paul Schwartz that the Giants did not initially know that the show that they were shooting or the whatever you want to call it was going to be for Hard Knocks?
No, not at all. And well, I'll say this. You're at an executive level, on the top level of football, and there are cameras there. Regardless, unless you know exactly what those cameras are for, you keep what you want private. And the Hard Knocks lets you know. Understand, Hard Knocks gives the team final edit.
That's what
what can be in there and what can't be in there. So they knew their stupidity was caught on camera. They knew it.
But so you don't believe it?
Hell no. You got to put a story to it, I guess. But
is that even a good story?
No, it's lack of ownership and accountability, and that's been the Giants' problem. And what you said, I want to say back in maybe December, I think you said this. It's just coming to true. It's just coming to light now. You said, I don't want to keep Joe Shane because he's going to be desperate and he's going to mess us up and he's going to mess it up for the next person. And you see it happening now. Joe Shane got picked up. We picked this idiot up again for another year. And then we wonder why all these free agents are going elsewhere. No one sees any change to the Giants' culture. That's what Mara was talking about. What's our culture going to be? That's what they talked about. Our culture is bringing back an idiot who everyone in the league said that was a dumbass move. We bring that guy back. Just based on that, we were supposed to get rid of him. You can't be surprised that free agents don't want to come here. Justin Fields said, you know what? I'll go to the Jets. When have we lost a free agent to the Jets?
I was gonna say one actually. That's like the Yankees losing someone to the Mets. Oh wait, that just happened. But that just happened. So some Yankee went over to the other side of New York to play for the Mets. But you're right. I mean, at this point in time, I mean, where oh wait, I didn't even see him walking out with the ball.
No,
What?
No, James.
Oh,
No, I just wanted to come on and say what's up to my brothers real quick. I saw T. Brad hopped on. What's going on, brothers?
hey,
going
quick,
on,
man.
man?
What's up with you, brother?
Nothing,
Is that
man.
a
Just
Buffalo
running.
Bills hat?
No, that's a Knicks hat.
Knicks hat.
Oh, okay. I apologize. Go Lakers.
For a minute,
Whoa,
I thought
whoa, whoa.
Denver Broncos.
Nah, well, you know what, T. Brad? Your Lakers, they go for Luka's looking good out there.
Oh
You're
yeah.
looking good out there.
Oh yeah.
So what are we doing? Who we got? Joe Flacco? I keep hearing Joe Flacco. Now we're on to Joe Flacco.
We're on to Joe Flacco.
Is he injured? We only like him when they're injured.
And when they're old.
Well,
Yeah,
Joe
old
Flacco
and
is
injured.
You got to be old and injured. It's like a coffee brand. Old and injured. Brew it up.
This is the way.
Giant, you need to be old and
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
but I mean, we should know after 4:00 where Aaron Rodgers is going to go.
You know what's so crazy? Why is the world waiting on a guy who for the last 3 years really hasn't been that good?
Actually, last 4 years.
4 years. Because I was telling my boy, his last year in Green Bay, he wasn't all that great. He was decent, you know, but for Aaron Rodgers,
He wasn't Aaron Rodgers.
yeah. And it's like the whole football world is waiting to see where the yoga master is going to go. It's amazing. I don't know, man.
And at the end of the
And we're
day,
gonna overpay him.
well, that's
We are.
people. I mean,
We are.
I understand. Do Giant fans not get? You're not going to get Aaron Rodgers for like $7 million.
Nope.
No, they were saying it on the radio. My fault, Tim. Boomer and the little dude who's a Vikings fan on WFAN. I heard was like, well, the Giants were going to pay. We were going to pay 50, 60 million for Stafford. So if you're going to pay that for Stafford, we're going to have to pay for Rodgers. He's not going to come over here out of the kindness of his heart.
You were going to give 90 plus for 2 years for Matthew.
And this is their sales pitch. Well, if you want to be a Giant for life.
You know what? No, you know what our sales pitch?
I like that.
Our sales pitch should be, hey, come here for a year or two. You'll be mad and we'll suck. But then we'll trade you to a good team, and then your career will take off.
Yeah, there you go. Then you win a Super Bowl. Yeah, that needs to be their sales pitch.
That should be our slogan. We're like the guy that the woman dates before she meets her husband. We're just that bridge guy. We're that bridge team.
We're the rebound guy.
We're the rebound. We're
the Joe rebound Shane guy to get in a quarterback.
Hey Tim,
Oh
I need
my
a sound
God.
bite. I need you to put something on the soundboard. This will
What's
be
that?
perfect for when the draft is over. At the end of Trading Places, when my man goes, get those people back in here. Turn those machines back on.
back on. Turn those machines back on.
We're gonna get Mortimer to come back in.
Yo, I promise you, once we get and when you just playing in the draft, when we make a dumb draft pick, a la Wandale Robinson. And again, I don't think Wandale Robinson is a bad NFL player.
not at
He
all.
was just not what we needed with the second round pick that year. So it's no
Word.
shit. It's
Another
not me
big wide
shitting on Wandale
receiver.
Robinson.
There was another big
That's
draft.
yeah. That's my only thing. I'm only gonna say this just to annoy T. Brad so he could get mad in the phone. But you know what I'm gonna say? I said that's why we had to resign my boy Slayton, because all we had was neighbors, Papa Smurf, and another guy in Hyatt who can't catch a cold.
Don't worry.
First of all, you know I'm
What, $6 million?
anti-Slayton for a long time.
Don't
I
worry. He's
know.
here for another 2 years
I'm
Another
I'm
2 years, baby.
minimum,
I'm gonna be honest.
maximum 3.
That's a lot of drops.
There is this guy. I have no idea. Here's the thing. It's not even about the drops with this guy. You were on sometimes, and I think Tim might have said something like this the other day. Like Slayton is at the Tom Coughlin part of his career with the
Yep.
Giants, minus the 2 Super Bowls, of course.
Mm.
Yep.
But it's like, hey, you've been here long enough. You're not a bad player, but it's time to go in a different direction.
It was time. It was time to look at and to give him $36 million for 3 years.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And
Like,
not only that, there wasn't a big wide receiver market.
No.
But
no.
if we had a second round pick, which we do, and we had a needed wide receiver, which we do, I wouldn't mind DK Metcalf.
No.
I wouldn't mind that. That's an early second round pick. We may be able to squeeze a fifth out of it. But
Well,
if we have DK Metcalf, and this is just me trying to put myself in a GM hat. If we have DK Metcalf before we start free agency, and you got neighbors on the other side, boy, have I made things appealing to a potential quarterback. Boy, have I made it look like, hey, we got everything going for you. We got 2 good wide receivers. We're gonna fix this line, and with you in there, we're gonna get things going. You go a quarterback like, hey, where you want to go? I want to go to the Giants. What do they got? They got Neighbors and Slayton. Who?
Exactly.
Who?
well, my conspiracy theory is that he re-signed Slayton because he's going to use that second round pick to trade up to 1.
I don't. I want us to get one. I don't. If it's a first and a second, it takes to get one, and I guess you pay that price. But I, any long as we don't give up another one, it's cool.
Yeah. Like
Long as
Tim
we
said,
don't
what if
give up
it's
a
like,
one next year, I guess it's cool.
yeah.
So
What if it's 2 3s and we have an extra third?
I'd rather give up a one, a third, and a Kayvon Thibodeau.
Can we throw
I need that
I'm going
other
to throw
third
Evan
round
Neal
pick.
in the deal just to make it fun.
The Bills signed Joey Bosa to a 1-year deal. I'm actually going to be curious to see who has the better season, Kayvon Ghostman or Joey Bosa. Because Kayvon's looking to get paid soon, T-Brad. And Brother Tim, you know that. He's looking to get paid soon. So he's going to play like a bat out of hell this year. Watch.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think Bosa. I didn't know Bosa he went to the Bills.
Yeah, he went to the Bills.
And it's funny because the Bills just gave Gregory Rousseau a contract extension as well. So that's gonna be helpful for both. I think for both Rousseau and Bosa on that line. But that's just don't worry. Well, the Giants we got CJ Board.
Yo, honestly, guys, that's what I don't know. None of those dudes we signed yesterday, man.
That was
Didn't that text effort? I'm dead serious. I don't know none of those dudes, yo. I don't know none of them. The dude, the defensive tackle from Seattle, the safety from Miami, the what do they call it? The other offensive tackle, James Hudson, swing tackle. Thank you. And then the guy who's the special teams, he's a special teams guy, Chase the board, the linebacker guy. I don't know none of these dudes, and I know football, and it's just like the Brian Burns thing. Like we're starting to get players that I don't know, and that's not good.
Well, the thing I laugh about that he wasn't really on anyone's radar, and he wasn't really in the top 7 or 8 defensive backs because of the injury.
No.
So he was. I'm sorry. What is Wi-Fi issues? T-Brad, your excuses are your own. Get better Wi-Fi. Does he know this is a professional show?
We're professionals here.
We're professionals now. Hey, this is the 3rd stream in a row.
No, you've been doing your thing, man. You've been,
I'm tired.
Nah, you've been working hard trying to sift through the garbage and trying to find a way to give us hope. Because I love the people when they come in the chat and they go, "Hey, man, You're just so negative, man. You're not a real fan, man. Hey, man. You know,
Prophecy. Actually, I do remember Chris Candy. I compared this. I compared the first to Chris Candy. I actually said that just the. It's
yeah, but Chris Candy came here and helped us with a Super Bowl. I don't think this guy's going to do that.
Brad says, "Love your dedication to keeping it all the stupid Joe Shane moves." Well,
yeah, man, you're appreciated, man. We love you.
This is the last live stream for the week. I want to thank everyone on that other platform.
The other platform
that's been wild because we've had some really big numbers on that secondary platform outside of YouTube. So I do really want to thank everyone that's really come in and we got a lot of new people that have come in and left comments and gave us their opinion. And that's what this is all about. It's all about just everything is all of our opinions. It doesn't mean we're right. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but that's just another story.
The cult leader's always right.
Cult leader's always right. Just don't drink the Kool-Aid. But like I said, 4:00 we're gonna know. 4:00 we're gonna get an idea. 4:00 we're gonna find out if Debo is gonna pass his physical. We're gonna see what contracts go to the league offices. I mean, we're going to be. I like this question, but I like the statement. Dan is right about Golston and horrible against the pass rush. One of our biggest weaknesses in defense. Says it all.
Sign him right now.
Sign him right now. Let's give him $80 million.
Let's give him a signing bonus.
Let's give him a signing bonus to sign.
Oh my God, man.
But he's right. He's not right. That's like people worried at times that the Giants' offensive line had issues with run blocking. John Runyon, the nicest thing to say about him, pretty okay at pass blocking, but can't run block. Which I thought was hilarious because you're an offensive lineman and you can't go forward.
He's got short arms. He's got dinosaur arms.
He's got the T-Rex arms.
He's got T-Rex arms. He can't do it. Come here. Come here. Get away from my quarterback.
And it's great that you pair him with an undersized center who gave up the most sacks in the NFL by a center. But don't worry, Andrew Thomas is going to stay healthy.
Oh, yeah.
And Evan Neal's going to play guard.
He's gonna guard. He's gonna guard. I can't even say that online. I was gonna say something. I'll just wait till just me and you. I don't want to say.
I know where you're going with that. Let's not go with that one. Why do I got breaking news? I got breaking
news. Uh-oh.
Breaking news. No, nothing good. Nothing good. Nothing good on the breaking news front. It was the Joey Bosa thing.
Isn't it crazy though how every other team or most teams are making moves like Seattle? They wanted to keep Geno, but he wanted more money, so they said, "Okay, we'll trade you to your old coach." Because the Raiders needed a quarterback. Raiders just gave up a 3rd-round pick. They got a quarterback. Seattle turned around and said, "Okay, Sam, we'll take you." Minnesota. I don't know why Aaron Rodgers wants to go follow behind my man Brett Favre and go to Minnesota, but that's his prerogative.
Minnesota's a playoff team.
No, but I'm just saying from the whole aspect of you've been living in Favre's shadow your whole beginning of the career, and everything you've done the last few years is walking Favre's shadow. I just find that really weird.
But they are a playoff team. I wouldn't even care about walking in Favre's shadow. If I had a choice, I would go. If I'm Rodgers, I would go Pittsburgh, Minnesota, retirement.
I think he should just retire.
That's what I would do. I wouldn't go to the Giants. I would just retire.
Think about if he goes to Minnesota, because like you said, they have a playoff roster. But if he goes there and he doesn't even look as good as Sam Darnold did last year, it's going to leave a nice little stain at the end of your teacup.
But you have receivers. You have a running game. You just re-signed Byron Murphy.
I know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to me, you're playing. And this is the other thing. You're playing in a dome.
Yeah, that part as the old man, yeah.
Jones looks good in a dome.
Yeah.
I mean,
that part, yeah.
But the question is this: we can't sign him because he can't do a backflip.
Oh, the David Wilson flip. Remember that? David Wilson. He's so athletic because he could backflip. He's gonna run for 30 touchdowns because he could do a backflip.
I have an autographed David Wilson jersey right over there. And
Oh yeah.
I think it's funny with David Wilson that as we get further away from what he really was, people kind of augment or lament that, oh my God, his career would have been something so special had he had not gotten hurt. Had he not had the spinal stenosis, whatever it's called. And it's like, did you actually watch David Wilson play?
No, they didn't.
I mean, like, did you actually watch this guy? And we didn't even want David Wilson. We wanted the other Wilson that went to Tampa. I mean, this is a guy that had 358 yards his first year. And this is a guy that we thought was going to be the third down back, only had 34 yards receiving in 16 games. He was a return guy. He only had, before he got hurt and was forced to retire, he only had 146 yards in 5 games, and he started 4 of those games.
David Wilson was so bad against breaking contact that the tackle dummy in practice would tackle him. Yeah. If you watched him in the games, whenever he got touched, it looked like he got shot.
Yeah.
It looked like Malcolm X JFK going down. Like he looked like it just implosion, like Pearl Harbor. Like, it's like, are you okay? I thought he was going to die every time he got tackled. Like he's never played football before. It was crazy.
I love this by New York State of Mind. Funny how before Fields went to Pittsburgh, he was available and a lot of Giant fans didn't want him, but then he goes to Pittsburgh and now the Jets and now the Giants want him. We want him now. He wasn't good enough last year to beat out Daniel Jones, but now he's the guy.
Yeah, that's the thing with Wilson. It's like, think about this. If Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh and then let's just say Minnesota picks up Flacco, right? And they're just holding the spot for JJ. Wouldn't it be so great for us if we call Russell Wilson and then all of a sudden you hear Russell Wilson is retiring because he'd rather retire than come here?
I have to admit something. And then I have to admit something. Then I got to go. And I'm going to talk.
It's going to be good.
I have to admit something. I am scared to death. New York Football Giants are going to take Jackson Dart at 3.
Don't you dare say that. Don't you put that on us, Ricky Bobby. You put that voodoo on us.
I am literally scared to death that this is where this is headed.
Oh, my God. Now, please, man.
You don't get your quarterback. And you don't.
Follow me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on us.
If you don't get your quarterback in free agency,
oh my God,
what options do you have outside of going like a Flacco or a Mariota or a Tyler Heineke? What options do you have? You're not going to go one because you don't want to get rid of the assets because you still have a dearth of talent on this roster. Do you roll the dice as Joe Shane and Brian Dale are trying to save their job?
Don't put that in the universe, man. Don't. You're old and wise. We're older and wise men.
Think about it for a minute. You take Jackson Dart at 3. You have to give Joe Shane year 5.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
If you win 2 games, you're like, well, we had a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. No. That's why everybody who's like, well, we're not going to take a quarterback. Of course, they're going to take a quarterback because that will give them at least an extra season. They're trying to extend their jobs. Yeah. They can't go into the season with just Rodgers and Mariota or Heineke and DeVito. If they have a veteran and then they have, I know, right, Big L? Tell them to stop. And then they draft a rookie, preferably Ward or Sanders, then yeah, you have to give them another year because you don't want to gut them now and then have the rookie here. And then you're going to look like you don't know what you're doing, even though we should have gutted them last season, at the end of last season. So I totally 1,000,000% agree with you. But the fact that you put that out there, I want to fight you right now. If we were in high school, we would go outside and slapbox right now because you're my brother I love. But you can't put that in the air. If we take Jackson Dart, you might see me throw a chair through a window on a live stream. I will throw a chair through a window. That's how mad I'm going to be. Jackson Dart with an X.
With an X.
Okay.
The flowing hair, Jackson Dart with the X.
Okay. I don't even I can't I don't even know what to say to that.
But then you think about this, and this is why you can't. If you take Jackson Dart at 3, why you can't fire Joe Shane and Brian Dable in year 5? Very simple. What head coach and general manager is going to want to come here if they can't pick their own quarterback? You're going to have to find a guy that's in love with Jackson Dart because wait for it, it's going to come full circle because we had to find a general manager and a head coach that were in love with Daniel Jones.
Damn, history repeats itself. Don't say that. Now you're scaring me for real. I was just being sarcastic, but now the fact that you said that, and history does have a tendency to repeat itself, unfortunately, at times. And oh my god, we cannot do that.
You could potentially still be in the same vicious cycle for another 5 years.
If we draft Jackson Dart at 3, I will stop killing the Knicks for bringing on Clarence Weatherspoon and Shannon Anderson, because that would be worse. That's how bad that would be.
Would you stop killing him for giving OG Anunoby that $200 million contract?
Nah, I don't know. 212. Every time I see him, I just see 212.
212. Sorry, 212.
212. I don't see the number on the back of his jersey. I see 212. And I ain't talking about Manhattan. 212. But the Jackson Dart thing, man, that's really scary. And to everybody out there in the chat, we're all the cult here, we're all family. What Tim said is very plausible. if Ward is gone to Titans and Cleveland takes Sanders and Joe is sitting there panicking with a Crustable melting in his pocket, like, God damn, I gotta get a quarterback. Jackson, hey man.
I'm
How you feel?
I'm booking this right now. 12, we'll say 12:52 p.m. is when that Jackson Dart will be taken at 3. Joe Shane and Brian Dable will get year 5.
Oh my God. We're gonna take the Mississippi Sunshine.
We're gonna take
no, man. And it's like I wouldn't mind it. Like I don't mind a good old country boy, but not him. Not him.
It's not that one.
There's some high schooler out there in Mississippi, some white dude with real flow hair, and he's probably the real deal. He's probably in junior high school right now. We don't know his name, but Jackson. Man, I'm mad you said that. You just put it into the matrix.
I had to, man. I had to do it.
This is.
Can we put Tim in timeout on his own show?
I was gonna say you need to get wonka. Thank you. Yes. Welcome to the brother show. Different brother though. Had to get that other guy out of here.
I forgot. Wait a minute.
Get nothing. Good day.
But the sad thing is, guys, that has a real shot of happening, man. Jackson, I gotta take off my glasses. Jackson Dart. We could go from Daniel Jones to the Dart. From a dime to a dart. It could happen. That's really scary. I'm mad he said that. I love Tim. I love you guys. I'm really mad he said that, though. Because history does have a tendency to repeat itself.
It does. And then, like I said, because then your year 3 with Jackson Dart, let's say, and you fire Shane and Dable, you still have another 2 years on the Dart contract. So then you still have to bring somebody in. I'm sorry, you'll be going into year 3. That means you'll have year 3 and 4 on the Dart contract, first round contract. So you'll still have to find a general manager and a head coach who will come in here like these two knuckleheads did and said, you know what? I can make Daniel Jones an NFL quarterback.
You know, if we do that, you know what's going to happen? Neighbors is going to force a trade to Washington.
I don't even think he's going to force a trade. I think he's just going to drive over to Washington and start playing.
I'm telling you, he's going to be sitting here, and then if we take Jackson Dart and then he's going to be sitting here through all of this, and he's going to go, man, I done went through Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, Jackson Dart. Nah, you know what? I will sit out the season, John Mara.
Giants guys got it right. Dark is not bad. No, I'm not afraid of the dark. Now,
no, I'm not afraid of. No, dark is good. Dark and lovely. All my exes used to wear that.
Ebony and Ivory, we're good.
Ebony and Ivory. No, dark is good. Dark chocolate, dark coffee.
I love this. Everybody else says dark is way better than Jones. I agree, because when it's dark, I don't have to see Daniel Jones play.
I don't even know. Like when people say that, it's like saying manure is cleaner than dog poop. Manure that you use for the flowers.
I've said it before. One man's trash is sometimes just another man's garbage. So
yeah,
we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave it at it's 1 o'clock. Oh no, that be because we're being professional today. This is Tim the Giant Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to thank everyone that was out on YouTube, everyone out on X. This is Tim. This is James. Want to thank T-Brad. Want to thank Mr. Strider for coming on. We'll see what happens at 4 o'clock, guys. There will be a video tomorrow, and I'm out of here. Peace.
Peace.